Hello, my name is Hank from The Only Allies Enemies Gaming, and I bring you more Paragon gameplay. This time I'm playing as Murdock. Who is Murdock? He is an energy damage based attack carry. Now, there's a difference between energy and physical damage, but it's not the same as a lot of games' ability and physical damage. Namely, they're actually one and the same, energy and physical. It just depends on what it is that mitigates them. There are two separate armors. But other than that, as far as I can tell, they don't act in any way different. So that means you can build a team with a lot of energy damage or a lot of physical damage, but that means the enemy only has to stack one kind of armor. And there's no benefit to stacking one kind of damage type other than the heroes that have the option for each damage type. So what you'll probably see are teams that have 3 to 2 or vice versa. So that way the enemy can't just stack all of armor, all of physical armor, or all of energy armor. Then the difference between what I'm calling an attack carry and a caster is that a caster doesn't do a lot of damage with their ability or with their attacks. But they do with their abilities. Obviously, it's the vice versa for the attack carries. Murdock is an attack carry. The guy we just killed, Gideon, he is a caster. So, when he gets energy damage, it doesn't add a whole lot to his base attack. But it does add a whole lot to his offensive powers. Murdock only has 2 offensive powers, and one of them is his ultimate. So, we quickly got a kill there, due to the enemy's overextension to our jungle. If you're going to invade, you need to do it as a group. I don't know what that Gideon was doing, but at level 1, he either has his escape, or he has his AoE ability. But that means he's either not going to kill people, but he's able to escape, or he's at least able to do damage, but he's just going to die because he has no escape. And that Grux came in, and I had actually played with that Grux in the previous match, and he just stuck around for too long. He should have left his ally to die. So one thing I really wanted to point out here is the way last hitting works. You can see me doing it here as I get a bunch of them. If you kill the thing, you gain 100 card experience, but if you don't, it just drops 2 of those orbs, and each of those orbs are worth 10. So not getting the last hits does mean you still get something, but it is far and away a lot less than you get for the last hitting. And it's something that's kind of a misconception among people that think this game's last hitting doesn't matter. It does, and there's a huge difference between players that do last hit and players that don't. Anyways, Murdock, what about him? His passive is if he doesn't take damage for a set amount of time, and I'm not exactly sure how long that is, he gains a passive speed increase. And I'm actually kind of dueling with one here. The first ability I usually take from him is Shielding Shot, and we'll get some highlights of Shielding Shot later in this game. Right here, real quick, I want to kind of point out what him and I are doing as we jockey back and forth for position. This is what I talked about in my previous video, and it's one of the things that I love about this game. It might look slow if you're not playing, but as you're playing it, it's really methodical, and as you and your opponent try to go back and forth, the low projectile speed means it is actually possible to dodge a long-range shot if you're strafing kind of unpredictably. And it makes it very interesting. It doesn't make it play slow, but it actually definitely doesn't make it feel like a Twitch-based shooter. And it's kind of hard for me to properly vocalize how much I enjoy that. But it is something that I really think Paragon does well and really helps set it apart from other games in both the MOBA genre and the third-person perspective. Anyways, his other abilities are you saw me lay down those traps, they just slow people that run into them. He has a buckshot, which he pulls the little pistol off his back. I think I'm about to do it, because I like using it as a wave clear when I need it. Nope, I will use it up here on this guy in a moment. That's the only normal offensive thing he's got. What's really good about it isn't so much the area damage, which isn't bad, but it decreases the enemy's energy armor. And finally, his ultimate is a long-range beam called Devastating Blast, and I've got some highlights of that. So right here I've shown a couple of highlights of me getting some kills, but this right here is me being dumb. As you can see, my ally has run off into the jungle, but I'm not paying attention to my mini-map. And that means I stick around a little too long. Now, I know I want to leave, but before I do, I throw down this trap, and that's... If I had just run back, I wouldn't be in this situation, but I do get ganked. He uses his ultimate on me, and a lot of Gideons do that, and I feel like it's a bit of a waste. Especially when you have all those allies around. But it's just something I keep in this game. You move slow. So right there, I use the shielding shot, and then I put the static block under my feet. So that I knock the guy away, and then when he tries to charge to catch back up to me, I back away from him, and he gets slowed, which gives me just enough room to not die. You can be surprised how quickly you'll die if you haven't been stacking any sort of defense. We finish off this wave. Now here I am again, joining a team fight that I think is going on. And Devastating Blast is an ability that travels through terrain and through all characters. It has an infinite range, and anything it hits takes the damage. That actually makes it good as a sort of long-range finisher. However, as I'm about to showcase, it is hard to use. As you aim it, I do get the hits there, but not enough damage to finish anyone off. Alternatively, there was a slight delay, and I'll show some of those delays later in this video, as I did miss it a couple of times. But when you can use it to kill somebody from across the map, it can be a very strong way to secure a kill. And that, I think, will really showcase itself once this game starts developing further along and there starts being more heroes. We'll see really good Murdock players who are able to secure a kill by always actively predicting where the enemy is running. Now, the only reason I could see the enemy's outline there was because either our minions or another player could see them. And as long as they can see them, you get the outline through the terrain, which isn't actually that important for most characters, as, I mean, you can see them on your mini-map, but actually seeing the body is important for Murdock because of that ability. So here I am defending a tower, and one thing I want to say about defending a tower is it is very hard to do, or it's very easy to do as a ranged character, because, for two reasons. Only other ranged characters will even risk poking in, because melee characters all have cleave damage. That means if they run up and try to attack the tower and just ignore you and let their minions tank the tower damage, well, you can just walk up next to them and get cleaved, because all melee have cleave. And since you got cleaved and hit for damage, the tower is now going to target that hero. It means melee has a very hard time burning down defended towers in any way, whether they're defended by a ranged character or not. Just anyone who's smart enough to stand next to their tower to activate the cleave damage for tower damage. So, throw down a ward. I got one of these wards because of that earlier gank, the one where I pulled up my minimap to show, because I felt dumb. I should have known those guys were coming, and there's not enough people right now that ward. And I remember from my League of Legends days, that's a constant issue, is that nobody wards in these games. I'm sure it's something that'll come around. Wards are easy to get, and of course, because this game has a free refund system for items, you get 100% back. You just lose out on the ability to buy the item again. We'll probably see a lot more players use wards at some point, but you can never be certain. Anyway, so we just killed down another wave, and I decide to go back to base. I believe here, I'm going to show the card shop. In case you haven't seen the card shop before, this is what it looks like, the item shop, more or less. I pick up a harvester key, because I didn't take one at the beginning of the game, because I was hoping my allies would do it. But if you look at the minimap, we currently only have the harvesters in our jungle. The two harvesters on the outside, as far as I am aware, haven't been claimed. And that can be a huge swing in the game. So I get the key. Unfortunately, there seems to be a team fight breaking out around our tower, so I'm not quite going to go in and pick up that harvester yet. But here we go back to defending towers. This is what I mean. You just can't push in, because if you do, you're going to get hit by the ranged players for free, or by any player really, and it'll just defeat you really quickly. I see this guy over here attacking our tower, and I want to get in on that, but instead I get jumped by Gideon. Now, right there, did you see how he tried to use his ultimate? Because of my shield, and I knocked him back, you have a short delay before his ultimate goes off, where you can delay him or stun him, do any sort of thing that'll make him stop casting it, and he misses out on it. And that's one of the things that makes it so dangerous. Since he used his escape to get close to me to use that ability, it of course meant he couldn't get away until it was far too late. And that's one thing I think Gideon players really need to calm down about using their ultimate so much. They just get themselves in bad situations. Now, I assume these two players are chatting about something, but I wanted to show this devastating blast, because this is what I mean. See that short delay? Now, if that guy had moved sideways quicker, he would have gotten out of it, and I would have been in trouble. Or I wouldn't have gotten the kill. But that's just, even though that was short range, that could have happened across the map. It's just easier to do that way. Here is a miss. I'm taking down this harvester, and I notice it, and I'm just trying to guess where they're going to move, fire, but I miss. The character did not move back that way, and there's that short delay, so you can't aim right on a target. You gotta kind of predict. It's me killing a harvester. Right here, I don't go far enough back, which is my own fault. I was sure I could poke him down, but his half a second stun is, I think, all that is enough for them to get on top of me. Luckily, the rest of my team was collapsing, so my one death turns around into a 2 kills. It's a 2 for 1, which isn't bad. Okay, no more jump cuts. I'm now going to showcase the rest of the gameplay as we start moving towards the end. So here's Gideon again, trying to use his ultimate, and I just sat outside of it. I tried to use my ultimate, but there was actually no reason to, so I just cancel out of it. You can see I still have it, it doesn't go anywhere. The cancel ability, you can hit escape or control. Control is a generic cancel, it'll cancel any other thing you're doing. This guy pulls us all towards him, and it doesn't matter if the tower attacks us. There's so many of us around that we'll be able to burn him quickly. That's just not a good choice. And that's why I'm saying that a ranged character would have a better time defending the tower, because he could have sat back and tried to poke and keep us out. But chances are we were going to go on that tower anyway. One thing I love about the way this game handles super minions is that the inhibitors are towers themselves. So there's not 2 buildings you have to destroy after a tower or something, but when you do destroy it, and when it comes back with a tower, which League of Legends and Dota, and as far as I'm aware, other MOBAs, I've only played those 2, they don't have that. Once you knock down the tower defending whatever the super minion structure, that's it. Even if the super minion structure respawns, the opposing players can just walk up and kill it again. Not so in this game, because it respawns as a tower. I like throwing the static lock under my feet just because this way if somebody dives on me they have a slow. Then that combined with my knockback on my shield, hopefully I can get away. I actually have a hard time always landing the knockback on the shield. I'm not sure why that is. Maybe it's just the player gets to... I think the player's still in front of me, but they're actually on the side of me. I'm not sure. But one thing I've started to learn is putting static lock under my feet helps me a lot with getting away. This right here, and again, all jungle minions do not have models or textures yet, so they're just using this stuff, and that's why it says alpha content. So this guy is kind of like the dragon from League of Legends, but what he does is he drops a black buff, and the black buff greatly increases the amount of damage you do to towers. Or probably all structures, I don't know, I haven't actually gotten a chance to test it out, and unfortunately in this game, at no point do I really get a good chance to push down a tower with it. But there were 10 card points, so I felt like I had to go back and spend them. Another good look at the card shop. You see me fully upgrading an item, and then I'm going to pick up another one. I can't decide what, so I get that. In exchange for my harvester key, because now we have 4 of the 7 total harvesters. I don't feel like I need any more, but actually as I run away with 1 unspent point, it was kind of pointless. Huh. It was kind of useless. to not keep the harvester key. And just because right now there's nothing I'm using that one point on, it could have still been the key. So there's Grux is trying to push up, and I'm going to go get him. But I'm waiting for him to just move up a little, and he sees me and I start moving up. Now I gotta be careful because he can probably shred me if I let him get too close. So I don't want to just blindly run around. But apparently sticking out my head was just enough time for him to figure out how to escape. And our rampage kind of ran on the wrong side of that entrance from the jungle. If he had ran on the other side, I bet you would have caught him. Because I bet you that Grux ran outside, right along the side of the harvester to kind of avoid us. I bet you he would have caught him. This is me picking up the red buff. Once again, the red buff gives you some bonus damage and I believe move speed on hit. So every time you hit somebody, you gain a little more move speed. My allies take down another inhibitor. So this game, once an inhibitor goes down, it's kind of funny how it works out. It feels like there's no way to come back from an inhibitor loss. Some people feel that way because super minions in this game are ridiculously strong. They shred normal minions in moments. And on their own, they will quickly push down and destroy the enemy core if the enemy doesn't do anything. Of course, the flip side of that is, like I said, once the enemy's inhibitor respawns, now they have a full strength tower again. And the enemy super minions just turn into normal minions, I think. I'm not actually sure about that one. I just don't know if I've ever seen super minions push down an inhibitor on their own. So here we are pushing down at the end of the game. You get to that core, and as I said in my last video, I feel cores die very, very quickly. I kind of wish they would extend that in some way, or increase the amount of damage the core does. I've never felt threatened attacking the core. To me, if you can get an inhibitor down and kill a couple of enemy enemy players, that's the difficult part. Not so much attacking the core, which is... And I don't know. I mean, you know, in League of Legends, once you destroy the 2 Nexus towers, the core is obviously easy to kill on its own. But I like the way Heroes of the Storm handles it, where it's hard to one-on-one or just solo wreck the opposing core nexus, whatever they call it in Heroes of the Storm. Anyways, that was a little bit of Murdock gameplay. I kind of cut out all the farming segments this time because I didn't feel like I wanted to talk about Paragon in general as much. I kind of wanted to focus more on a few plays and the character of Murdock himself. If you enjoyed the video, please let me know by hitting like and subscribing for more. If you didn't like it, hit dislike, and please leave me a comment letting me know why. My name is Hank from The Only Allies Are Enemies Gaming, and I will catch you all next time. Bye-bye.